All right. So the other thing we were going to watch is, here we go. The Department of Justice put out a briefing today on the Capitol Police and on the Capitol riot, and I think on upcoming stuff. So let's see what they got to say here.
Good afternoon. I'm Stephen D'Antuono, Assistant Director in charge of the Washington Field Office of the FBI, and I'm here to provide a quick update on the FBI's activities since the violence and destruction at the Capitol last week. The FBI is quite familiar with large-scale, complex, and fast-moving investigations. We are up to the challenge. As Director Ray says, the FBI...
Oh, hey, you are mine now, shut the fuck up. I'm not trying to fool anybody. I tell people that I'm a trans woman. So, hey, check and mate, my dude.
FBI does not do easy. To be clear, the brutality the American people watched with shock and disbelief on the 6th will not be tolerated by the FBI. The men and women of the FBI will leave no stone unturned in this investigation. Since these events, the FBI has worked hand in hand with the United States Attorney's Office and our law enforcement partners here in D.C. and across the country to arrest and charge multiple individuals who took part in the destruction.
No, I'm going to keep wearing this lipstick, but nice of you to notice. It's a lovely shade.
In 6 days, we have opened over 160 case files, and that's just the tip of the iceberg. The significance of this investigation...
Also, people literally pay me like thousands of dollars per month because I look hot. Your pathetic attempt at trolling me is not very good.
...is not lost on us. This is a 24/7, full-bore, extensive operation into what happened that day. We cannot do our job without the help of the American people. Since our call for tips, videos, and pictures, we have received more than 100,000 pieces of digital media.
Thank you very much for the
which is absolutely fantastic.
1 month. I appreciate
and
that
we
immensely.
are scouring every one for investigative and intelligence leads.
2101, thank you for the follow, my dude.
We continue to ask for more. If you have information, contact 1-800-CALL-FBI or submit photos and videos to fbi.gov/US Capitol, and that's Capitol with an O.
Also, at Edgar7up, I'm not going to be playing XCOM for a while, because I made 2 attempts at beating XCOM 2 and I failed both times. We need to take a break. We need to take a break from it. But I'll play other games on stream sometime.
I want to stress that the FBI has a long memory and a...
Oh, you are mine now? Don't feel bad for me, okay? Like, I'm living a happy and fulfilled life now. You would beat your sister into being normal? I mean, that reflects poorly on you, and I hope your sister at least gets you arrested and thrown in prison.
Broad reach. Agents and our partners are on the streets investigating leads not only here in the D.C. area, but also across the country through the FBI's 56 field offices. So even, like I've said before, so even if you've left D.C., agents from our local field offices will be knocking on your door if we find out that you are part of the criminal activity at the Capitol. But before we do this, this is your opportunity to come forward, as several individuals who were involved in Wednesday's riots have done, to volunteer about their participation.
I don't know how to say that.
In the weeks leading up to the January 6th rally,
thank you for the follow.
The FBI worked internally with every FBI field office to ensure
we were
looking for any intelligence that may have developed about potential violence during the rally on January 6th. We developed some intelligence that a number of individuals were planning to...
Why are you talking about your sister raping like my son? What the fuck are you on? I don't even know how to respond to that. But you can go now. You're boring.
To travel to the D.C. area with intentions to cause violence. We immediately shared that information and action was taken, as demonstrated by the arrest of Enrique Tarrio by the Metropolitan Police Department the night before the rally. Other individuals were identified in other parts of the country, and the travel subsequently disrupted. The FBI receives enormous amounts of information and intelligence, and our job is to determine the credibility and viability of it.
Next time somebody comes in here and does that, I'm just going to pretend it's my kink.
Under the laws and policies that govern FBI investigations. We have to separate the aspirational from the intentional,
yeah,
and determine which of the
individuals
saying despicable things on the internet.
Wait, let's figure this out. Let's cover this real quick. We can come back to the DOJ talk later. All right. I need to update this real quick because I threw off everything by opening a message. All right. What's going on here? Stop the Steal organizer says several GOP congressmen helped plan the rally. Damn. One lead organizer of last week's Stop the Steal rally that morphed into an attack against the U.S. Capitol claims that GOP Congressman Paul Gosar and Andy Biggs of Arizona and Congressman Mo Brooks of Alabama all participated in planning of the January 6th catastrophe. So what does that mean? Does that mean that they planned to raid planned the attack on the Capitol, or planned the actual rally? Let's find out. Oh, yes. Protect your chicken pies, okay? As CNN points out, Arizona's resident and pro-Trump activist Ali Alexander implicated the 3 members of the House of Representatives during a December live stream on Periscope, where he told followers the 4 of them had been planning something big. I'm the guy who came up with the idea of January 6th when I was talking with Congressman Gosar, Congressman Andy Biggs, and Congressman Mo Brooks. So we're the 4 guys who came up with the January 6th event, do not certify. And it was to build momentum and pressure, and then on the day change hearts and minds of congresspeoples who were not yet decided, or saw everyone outside and said, I can't be on the other side of that mob. Holy shit. Literally, wait, the phrase right here, I can't be on the other side of that mob, implies that they did indeed plan to make this a mob situation. Okay. Leader of Stop the Steal and one of the organizers of the... Oh, okay, we'll read the thread. Said yesterday that his PayPal and Venmo accounts were shut down as well. Oh, damn. His Twitter account is permanently suspended. Let's see. Several members of Congress helped him in planning maximum pressure on Congress. Screenshot below. Congressman Gosar tags him in his tweet. Biden should concede. Let's see here. I'm getting more information. What is this?
Those members of Congress who had groups coming through the Capitol that I saw on January 5th, a reconnaissance for the next day. Those members of Congress that incited this violent crowd.
Holy shit.
Those members of Congress that attempted to help our president undermine our democracy. I'm going to see that they're held accountable, and if necessary, ensure that they don't serve in Congress.
Guys, they led people on reconnaissance tours of the Capitol. There were people who knew where to go in the Capitol building. This is wild. Let's see. Now on Instagram, pleading for funding to get 24/7 security. Banned by Cash App as well. I'm unpersoned and no longer allowed to engage in commerce. I won't die quietly. Disturbing video that I'm told is from tonight of Ali Alexander, aka Ali Abdul Razak Akbar. The Lord says vengeance is his, and I pray that I am the tool to stab these motherfuckers. The nation is imperiled. They are trying to rape your children. Holy shit. I mean, CNN is implying that all of this is real. Wait. Oh, wait. Here we go. Here's the video.
So I want to let you guys know how we're responding, because I was the person who came up with the January 6th idea with Congressman Gosar, Congressman Mo Brooks, and then Congressman Andy Biggs. We four schemed up of putting maximum pressure on Congress while they were voting so that who we couldn't lobby, we could change the hearts and the minds of Republicans who were in that body.
This is wild shit, guys. Holy moly. All right, I mean, the story continues. We'll do that, but first I want to...
King amongst idiots. A king amongst idiots. On the right and the left.
Oh yeah, this is definitely the same guy.
You know, not fun, but, you know, it is what it is. So, rest assured in this. You know, the Lord says vengeance is his, and I pray that I am the tool to stab these motherfuckers. This begins the rebellion, and I will not bow before an illegitimate government. Not now, not tomorrow, not if they imprison me, not if they question me, not if they poison me, not if they behead me.
Holy
they can
shit.
go to hell. I'm going to heaven. No, I'm not sharing receipts. I'm not letting people be invasive into my life. That's not my business. That's not anybody's business. I'm not.
So, Sophia, this dude is claiming that he helped several members of Congress plan the January 6th mob attack on the Capitol.
I'm not cooperating with the enemy. I'm not cooperating with gossip. I'm not cooperating with...
No, he's not an Islamic extremist.
...with rumor. I'm not cooperating with fat people. I'm not cooperating with...
He's just a Republican.
Any of that. The criticisms belong on the platforms that seek to oppress us. The people who want to be in my crowd, they can be in my crowd. But you are not gonna rule over us with your Alinsky type rules. You and Lucifer and Alinsky and all the fat people who refuse to sign up with Jenny Craig can go fuck yourselves, okay?
What does he have against fat people? What is this? Also, like, fat people are great and generally not fascists. And also hot.
Okay, you can go fuck yourselves. To all of you people who called patriots domestic terrorists, y'all can go fuck yourselves. To all of you people who say that Christians can't cuss, y'all can go fuck yourselves. The nation is in peril.
What?
They are trying to rape your children. They are closing our churches and keeping us from the sacrament so that they can open a gateway to hell. Go fuck yourself if you want a receipt. There's a receipt for you.
This has to be QAnon bullshit. So anyway, yeah, that's the same guy from
I'm
this.
going to let you guys know how we're responding, because I was the person who came up with the January 6th idea with Congressman Gosar, Congressman Mo Brooks, and then Congressman Andy Biggs. We four schemed up of putting maximum pressure on Congress while they were voting so that who we couldn't lobby, we could change the hearts and the minds of Republicans who were in that body.
Domestic terrorists. Oh man, stretch time. Okay. Biggs, who's chair of the House Freedom Caucus, denied associating with Alexander. Congressman Biggs is not aware of hearing of or meeting Mr. Alexander at any point, let alone working with him to organize some of the planned protest. His spokesperson told CNN he did not have any contact with protesters or rioters, nor did he ever encourage or foster the rally of protests. He was focused on his research and arguments to work within the confines of the law and establish precedent to restore integrity to our elections, blah, 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 blah. Let's see. The Arizona Republican Party, which Gosar and Biggs belong to, faced backlash last month after promoting one of Alexander's tweets and asking Republicans if they were willing to die to overturn the legitimate outcome of the 2020 presidential election, which really seems to undermine what he had just been talking about in this statement. Anyway, since the violent riot that resulted in 5 deaths, Alexander's social media accounts have been suspended by social media platforms across the board. Following the attack, Democratic House members pushed to have Republicans involved in the Wednesday riot removed from office, including Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez and newly elected Cori Bush. Absolute goats. Let's see. He seems reliable, yeah. All right. Heaven and hell are fake faux Sammy. All right. Oh, hydrate. Thank you guys for keeping me hydrated in these trying times. I believe the Republican members of Congress who have incited this domestic terror attack through their attempts to overturn this election must face consequences, Bush wrote, introducing a bill that would expel members like Gosar, Biggs, and Brooks. They've broken their sacred oaths of office. Okay, that's pretty cool. And again, this from Representative Mickey Sherrill. Sherrill seems to imply that there is something to this story.
I also intend to see that those members of Congress who embedded him, those members of Congress who had groups coming through the Capitol that I saw on January 5th, a reconnaissance for the next day, those members of Congress that incited this violent crowd, those members of Congress that attempted to help our president undermine our democracy. I'm going to see that they're held accountable, and if necessary, ensure that they don't serve in Congress.
Wild shit. Guys, again, when we say that these people are fascists, we mean that they would willingly aid and abet a dictatorship being put in place underneath Donald Trump. And they would gleefully talk about how wonderful it is that the people invoke the ancient roots of liberty while hanging Democratic Congress people, okay? Like, this is what they would be comfortable doing. And they need to be gone. They need to be gone yesterday. They need to be gone as soon as physically possible. Yeah, this is going far beyond the pale of anything that is remotely acceptable in a even slightly functional democracy. All right, let's see what the FBI is doing. What are they up to these days, eh?
Just practicing keyboard bravado, or they actually have the intent to do harm. In the latter, we work diligently to identify them and prevent them from doing so. As offensive as a statement can be, the FBI cannot open an investigation without a threat of violence or alleged criminal activity. However, when that language does turn to a call of violence or criminal activity, the FBI is able to undertake investigative action. And in this case, we had no indication information was linked to any specific person, but this is a matter of an online discussion. This information was immediately disseminated through a written product and briefed through our command post operations to all levels of law enforcement. Part and parcel of our investigation into violent actors is the fact that we continue to gather intelligence that will aid in our ability to disrupt possible future violent activity. Suffice it to say, we are leveraging our relationships with federal, state, and local law enforcement partners, using our tools at our disposal to find and bring everyone involved in last week's criminal activity to justice. I'm now going to turn over to Acting U.S. Attorney Michael Sherman.
All right, thank you, Steve.
Oh,
I think I mentioned this before a few days ago that, just to begin, I think the scope and scale of this investigation in these cases are really unprecedented, not only in FBI history, but probably DOJ history, in which essentially the Capitol grounds outside and inside are essentially a crime scene. And a scale in which we have literally thousands of potential witnesses, and a scenario in which we're going to have, I believe, hundreds of criminal cases, both filed with our local courts, the Superior Court, and through the federal court system. So just to frame things, the enormity of this investigation is going to take a lot of work and a lot of effort, and this is not going to be solved overnight. It's not going to be solved within the coming weeks. It's not going to be solved within the coming months. This is going to be a long-term investigation, and rest assured, the Bureau, the Department of Justice, all the U.S. attorneys across the United States that are assisting in these investigations, everyone is in for the long haul. So that being said, let's turn to the numbers that Steve referenced. And
the Jewel Rich sending in a tweet. AOC telling Instagram viewers tonight that she had a close encounter during the Capitol insurrection in which she thought she might die makes this detail from Ayanna Pressley's chief of staff in our rebuilding of events all the more chilling. As people rushed out of other buildings on Capitol grounds, staffers in Pressley's office barricaded the entrance with furniture and water jugs that had piled up during the pandemic. Grow pulled out gas masks and looked for the special panic buttons in the office. Every panic button in my office had been torn out. The whole unit, she said. Though they could come up with no rationale as to why. She had used them before and hadn't switched offices since then. As they were escorted to several different secure locations, Grow and Presley and her husband tried to remain calm and vigilant. Not only of rioters, but of officers they did not know or trust, she said. Holy shit. There is something that stinks in government right now. And when I say these people have to go, they have to go like today. Because why, how the fuck is there, are all of their panic buttons in the office detached? How the fuck does that happen? Like, that seems like something people in the office would know about if there was a rationale as to why that's happening. And this is information coming from Boston Globe, which I can't access because stuff. Whew. Yeah, no. It's okay, Utah Jazz. It's okay to be upset about things that are upsetting, okay? And we're allowed to feel feelings. It's fine to feel feelings. Yeah. No, like, guys, when people are like, oh, these people were just peacefully standing in the building, no, they were fucking not, okay? They came with intent, and there are people in there who came with intent to do violence and to either kill or rape or, take hostages, okay? These are not, this was not like some sort of hippy-dippy sit-in where they're going to protest by, like, doing civil disobedience, okay? They were breaking down doors, they beat cops to death in the streets, and they came in armed and ready to do violence to these people. Thank you for sharing that with us.
The numbers are going to geometrically increase. So as we sit here now, literally days after this event happened, we have already opened more than 170 subject files, meaning these individuals have been identified as potential persons that committed crimes on the Capitol grounds, inside and outside. So of those 170 cases that have already been opened, and I anticipate that's going to grow to the hundreds in the next coming weeks, we've already charged over 70 cases. And again, that number I suspect is going to grow into the hundreds. So what are the types of cases we initially charged? And I think there's some misconceptions, and I want to clarify some of those misconceptions, because given the enormity of the actors we saw both inside and outside the Capitol, the range of criminal conduct is really, I think, again, unmatched in any type of scenario that we've seen, the FBI or the DOJ. We're looking at everything from...
And hey, guys, this is why we need to build up lefty communities like this one, okay? We need to build up solidarity. We need to build up political power, and the only way we can do that is by working together to try and make the world a better place. And that's literally why I made my channel. And I hope you all join me in trying to find some solidarity in these trying times, because goddamn, we need to build that up, and we need to build it up quick before worse people come around that are more successful at doing coups.
simple trespass to theft of mail, to theft of digital devices within inside the Capitol, to assault on local officers, federal officers both outside and inside the Capitol, to the theft of potential national security information or national defense information, to felony murder, and even civil rights excessive force investigations. So just the gamut of cases and criminal conduct we're looking at is really mind-blowing. And that has really put an enormous amount of work on the plate of the FBI and field office throughout the entire United States. So let's look at those initial cases. And again, I want to clarify some misconceptions. When criminal conduct occurs, we try to obviously charge people as soon as possible. So the way, looking just at the federal system, we'll try to do that via criminal complaint. So when these actors left the Capitol, these individuals, these defendants, obviously the impetus, the marching orders by federal law enforcement was to find, fix, and charge these individuals as fast as possible. So the prosecutors from the DC U.S. Attorney's Office, we looked for the most simple charge we could file as quick as possible. So therefore, the initial charges filed in these cases, a lot of them were misdemeanors. They were trespass cases. However, those cases were opened on those initial charges.
Guys, all of this is very troubling. If you need to, like, peace out for a little bit just to kind of, like, you know, moderate things, it's okay to not be able to take in all of this at once. It's a whole lot to take in. And frankly, if I wasn't streaming and, like, having some kind of outlet to, like, vent my feelings about this, I would probably be very distressed too. So if you need to take some time to yourself, please don't feel bad if you need to, okay? Good night, Utah Jazz. You know I love you, okay?
Charges. We also had several firearms charges. We also had several felony charges that were open with assault and battery, illegal felonious possession.
Oh, and guys, I stream, for those of you who are new, I stream every weekday at 8 p.m. Central Time until whenever the fuck I feel like, with usually around 3 to 8 hours, somewhere in there.
Of weapons. However, I want to clarify a misconception. This is only the beginning. So after these criminal charges are filed via criminal complaints, that allows law enforcement across the United States to arrest people from Dallas to Arkansas to Nashville to Cleveland to Jacksonville. That's what's happened over the past several days. It's really quite incredible. Now, after those charges are filed, then we have the ability to then indict these individuals on more significant charges, and that's exactly what has happened. For example, yesterday, again, only days after this event happened, we had the grand jury in the District of Columbia up. It was booked throughout the entire day, and for several hour upon hour, prosecutors in our office presented felony cases, significant felony cases related to civil disorder, related to the possession of destructive devices, related to the possession of semi-automatic weapons that are illegal to possess in the district. So, again, I just want to clarify that.
Yeah, so, like, remember what all of those charges that he just listed off? Whenever anyone is telling you that these were peaceful people who were coming with only good intentions, and it was Antifa who was doing all of the bad things, because that's what I've been talking with some of these people on stream, and they believe this. They believe that this was largely peaceful and Antifa was doing all of the bad things, but like. These people came with semi-automatic weapons, they came with Molotov cocktails, they came with pipe bombs, they came with, all kinds of different weapons illegally within the district, and they entered the building with the intent to do harm and to take hostages. So, yeah.
That the initial charges we're filing,
exactly,
some of these misdemeanors, these are only
guys, a peaceful protest doesn't fucking build a noose outside of the Capitol building, okay? That happened. There are pictures of it. We can go look at them if we want, okay? It's fucking crazy that people are saying that this was a peaceful protest at all.
Beginning, this is not the end. So what are we looking at downstream here? So in terms of what we're looking at is the initial charges everyone's familiar with, the zip tie guys, the Munchels, and the Brocks that were arrested.
Yeah, like I can't show video of the cop being beaten to death because that would violate Twitch terms of service. but you can watch that video. They're doing it in broad daylight, and there's hundreds of people watching it happen and cheering it on, and like it's super normal. Yeah, you can see it happen. It's absolutely bonkers. And the idea that this was like just a small minority of Antifa people, like, no, it was not. I'm sorry.
On the House floor with zip ties rifling through the House floor. People are familiar with online. They see the Barnetts and Johnsons who were literally rifling through Pelosi's office and stealing items, stealing materials, mail, and sometimes even personal mementos. So those are the cases the public's familiar with. They're familiar with those cases because of social media. But what the public isn't familiar with is that the FBI, working with the U.S. attorney's offices across the country, and the crux of those being in D.C., we're looking at significant felony cases tied to sedition and conspiracy. Just yesterday, our office organized a strike force of very senior national security prosecutors and public corruption prosecutors. Their only marching orders from me are to build seditious
and Justice Demon. They found a guy with a whole case of Molotov cocktails. Like imagine if you had added fire and explosives to that mix. That, like, the Capitol building could have very easily burned to the ground. Yeah, guys, if you're liking this kind of content, please hit that follow button. I appreciate you all for sticking around immensely. Okay?
And conspiracy charges related to the most heinous acts that occurred in the Capitol.
Thank you,
and these are
Cakes
significant
5
charges that have felonies with prison terms of up to 20 years. In addition to that, we're looking and taking a priority with cases in which weapons were involved.
Thank you very much for the follow,
and cases in which destructive devices were involved. As people know through news reports, there were pipe bombs found outside the Capitol. The ATF is working on that. Metro Police is working on that. FBI is working on that to find that individual or individuals who planted those devices. So in addition to just those rogue cases we're looking at, we're going to focus on the most significant charges as a deterrent, because regardless of if it was just a trespass in the Capitol or if someone planted a pipe bomb, you will be charged and you will be found. In addition to that, we've also focused on an emphasis on assaults and batteries on police officers, both federal officers and local MPD officers that were assaulted. And as the days go on, there's going to be more social media, and people will recognize that in some instances, MPD and Capitol Police were in open-handed combat with some of these persons inside the Capitol, where tear gas was used on the Capitol Police and federal officers, and they were also used against some of these rioters. So the picture is going to build. I think there's a lot of misconceptions about what...
Hey, Radical Maniac, I'll go over that after I finish this video, okay?
Happen within the Capitol, and it's going to come into laser focus, I think, over the next weeks and days, and I think people are going to be shocked with some of the egregious conduct that happened within the Capitol. The third area emphasis that our office is also focusing on is we set up a strike force to focus on assaults on the media. Some people aren't familiar that some of those rioters specifically targeted members of the media and assaulted them. So we have assigned specific prosecutors in our office to focus on those cases as well. And I'm naming all these different strike forces to just emphasize, regardless of who the victim was, regardless of who the perpetrator was.
Oh, damn, one of the zip tie guys was turned in by his ex-wife? That's amazing. Amazing.
Treating all of these cases equally. Thank you very much.
We will now begin the question and answer session. To ask a question, you may press star, then 1 on your touch-tone phone. If you're using a speakerphone, please pick up your handset before pressing the keys. To withdraw your question, please press star, then 2. The first question is from Pete Williams from NBC News. Please go ahead.
So can you clarify for us what intelligence did the FBI gather before the assault on the Capitol about the potential for violence, and how did it share it, and did it share it to the Capitol Police?
we received a lot of intelligence, like I said in my statement, a lot of intelligence and information through all different means, be it through social media or through CHSs, sources, and then we have a sharing mechanism with JTTFs. Across the country, we have Joint Terrorism Task Forces, and in this city, in D.C., we have a very robust JTTF. And in that, we have Capitol Police, Park Police, MPD, and all the other federal law enforcement partners. We shared intelligence through the JTTF model, and we also shared it through our command post structure, and then also through other means of they have access to our information readily available because they have access to our systems. So all.
Oh, hey, freedom is capitalism? I still want to defund the police. Yes, I'm still in favor of that. Hello. Hi. It's me, the left. Hi. How you doing?
That information was shared with our partners, and then we went from there.
ASOC garbage. Thank you muchly for the follow.
From CNN. Please go ahead.
Wondering if you could tell us perhaps if you found any indication so far to indicate
America
that,
does have a
there
prison
was
problem.
this level of planning and coordination for.
I can like something and dislike another thing. Those are not mutually exclusive positions. I like it when cops do a thing to protect the country. I don't like it when cops murder black people for no reason. These are not mutually exclusive ideas or positions. And I can also think that, yeah, cops don't need, like, military-grade gear because there's no evidence that it makes them safer. We have studies on that. So, that being the case, we should take some money from cops and put them into social programs because we know social programs reduce crime more effectively than funding police does. Anyway.
For these people to go into the Capitol and carry out this attack rather than just a spontaneous mob that got out of control. And then secondly, if you could, at least Senator Schumer has talked about the possibility that some people might be put on the no-fly list. Of these 170 case subject files that you've already opened, can you tell us whether you've added any of those people to a no-fly list as a result of what happened?
So we're looking at all different avenues here. So
Oh no, a historic civil rights protest didn't go exactly 100% peaceful? Gee whiz, that sure does sound an awful lot like the 1960s civil rights movement under Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Wowee, sure does sound the same to me. Which is a lot different than armed people storming the Capitol of the United States of America, dipshit.
Agents and analysts and all the other FBI personnel in my office and across the country are scrubbing video. We're talking to witnesses. We're talking to individuals that we arrest. And we're gathering that picture, that intelligence, if you will, to understand what happened on the 6th, that day, in the Capitol, outside the Capitol. We talk to all law enforcement partners, and it's not just the FBI doing this, it's all of our law enforcement partners as well that are working in conjunction with Acting U.S. Attorneys Mike Sherwin's office and our local office here too as well. So we're sharing that intelligence amongst each other. We're putting into the intelligence cycle that the FBI has.
Prove that election fraud is real, please. Prove it. Because 60-plus court cases haven't so far. Oops. Oh no. You don't have any data? Then no, I'm not gonna back fucking storming the Capitol, dipshit. God. It's really that simple.
To try to ascertain the true picture of what happened that day. As for the no-fly list, we look at all tools.
If you provided good data, you probably shouldn't send it to some no-name streamer on the internet. You should probably send it to, I don't know, the FBI or something. I don't know. That would probably be you understand if you could prove this, it would be the biggest story in the United States forever. It would be literally the largest crime and cover-up ever conceived, probably ever conceived in the history of mankind. Because it would require, like, I would go on, I would say millions of people working together in coordination to pull off a super secret heist of this election, okay? So, like, if you have proof of that, holy shit, why are you wasting it on me? Take it to like the biggest news networks in the world, my dude. You're gonna like be the wealthiest whistleblower to ever blow a whistle, okay? So like, what are you doing wasting this on me? Good golly. Take it to OAM. Yeah, bastion of news and truth, Newsmax. Go take it to Newsmax. Holy shit. God. If the best lawyer in the world, Mr. Rudolph Giuliani, couldn't prove it in court, I mean, you're going to have a whole heck of a lot of trouble trying to do it yourself, bucko.
Tools and techniques that we possibly can use within the FBI, and that's something that we are actively looking at.
The next question
yes,
is
yes,
from
the MAGA
Catherine
women
Herridge
would give
from
you endless
CBS News.
blowjobs.
Please go ahead.
Thank you for holding this event. The 2 pipe bombs that were found at the RNC and the DNC, does this cross the threshold to domestic terrorism because they are political?
What? You understand alleging that like literally every single like sitting Democratic like congressperson is in on some elaborate conspiracy to elect Joe Biden, the most milquetoast neoliberal to ever like exist, is like absolute lunacy, right? You understand that that's like, I'm trying to think of like a good comparison. It's like you telling me like the moon is purple and like made of Play-Doh, and it was put there by the big Play-Doh corporations as a means of secretly controlling the world's children by making Play-Doh the #1 play toy. And I'm like, wait a minute, I don't think the world's #1 play toy is Play-Doh. I think it's probably Legos or something. And you're just like, no, big Play-Doh has orchestrated the largest conspiracy of all time in order to make Play-Doh the #1 toy in the world. And I'm like, no, I don't think that's true. Can you provide me any evidence? And your evidence is like, I'm going to shit myself in court 60 times. And that will be my testimony. And that's basically what you're like saying to me right now. So this is why I'm kind of making fun of you, and you're silly. And you should probably go and reevaluate your life, because you are not going to succeed if this is the way you think. Anyway.
Targets. And do you think this was designed to other...
Yeah, obviously Lego is the far superior toy. Obviously. There's no way Play-Doh would be the world's #1 kid's toy. Okay? No way.
First responders away from the scene as the Capitol was breached, or an effort to maim lawmakers as they evacuated?
So I'll try to address that question for you the best I can. So yes, those 2 pipe bombs that were found both outside the RNC and the DNC offices near the Capitol grounds. And look, to begin, they were real devices. They had
you know the FBI giving this nice breaking news statement about the violent attack on our Capitol. They're known for participating in giant country-spanning schemes to rig elections. That's what they're known for, right, guys? Absolutely.
Explosive igniters. They had timers. We don't know, obviously, exactly why they did not go off. That's being investigated. They were destroyed, disabled
I appreciated that.
by Capitol Police with the assistance of the ATF. And
exactly
that is all obviously being vetted and investigated. What was the purpose of those devices being planted? Was it a diversionary type of a tactic used by some of these rioters? Was it something, or did it have some other type of nefarious purpose? So that is what the ATF, the FBI, MPD are looking at as we speak right now, and looking for those persons that planted those devices. In terms of the conduct related to planning those, pipe bombs, the mention of domestic terrorism. I've mentioned this before. I don't like this tyranny of labels saying an act is domestic terrorism.
As Mark says.
We have plenty of federal resources at our disposal, plenty of federal charges to address all of this conduct.
The FBI is to politely arrest conservatives who participated in storming the Capitol while murdering lefty activists. That's the FBI in a nutshell, okay?
From felony murder related to the possession and use of destructive devices to seditious conspiracy, under the federal code that has significant penalties. And as mentioned, with this strike force that was established to focus strictly on sedition charges, we're looking at and treating this just like a significant international counterterrorism or counterintelligence operation. We're looking at everything: money, travel records.
Yes, Transformers
looking
more
at
than meets
disposition,
the eye.
movement, communication records. So no resource related to the FBI or the U.S. Attorney's Office.
Hey, actually, freedom is capitalism. We have a command for that. There you go. You can learn about fascism yourself. We're so prepared to teach you about fascism that I literally have a command in my chat to teach you the bare bones basics about fascism. It's really nice. It turns out it's not just a shorthand for Orange Man Bad. There's actually more to it than that. It's wild.
Will be unchecked in terms of trying to determine exactly if there was a command and control, how it operated, and how they executed these activities.
The next question is from Pierre Thomas from ABC News. Please go ahead.
Yes, thank you. Are you looking at the possibility that some of these suspects were attempting...
Oh, my dude, Donald Trump checks off all 14 of those points. He checks them off so hard, it's like he's making love to that list, okay?
...or planning to take members of Congress hostage?
So I want to talk about Mike's the prior question first, just because I want to emphasize that we have a $50,000 reward out for the information, any information and identification of the individual or individuals that left the pipe bomb. So I just want to make that perfectly clear, and that we're looking at all angles in that. Every tool, every rock is being unturned because we have to bring that person to justice or people to justice. So can you repeat the question, please? No. Okay.
Are you looking at the possibility that some of these suspects who breached the Capitol, who had zip ties and other things, were looking at the possibility of taking members of Congress or others hostage?
So, like I answered the last couple of questions before, we are looking at all angles here. We're interviewing everyone, interviewing witnesses, and interviewing subjects as they get arrested around the country and within the district as well, to ascertain the true purpose of some of these individuals in the Capitol that day.
The next question is from Jake Gibson from Fox News. Please go ahead.
Yeah, no wonder all of these ex-wives are turning their ex-man in, No wonder. I'd do that for $50,000. Are you kidding me? Holy shit. Too much love in this channel. I agree. Are they going to charge Charlie Kirk and Ginny Thomas for busing these insurrectionists who went to the Capitol? Ooh, that's an interesting question. I have no idea. Probably not.
Thank you, first of all. I have two, actually. Number one, Senator Cassidy has tweeted out a photo that he said was of an individual that authorities wanted to get in contact with in connection possibly with the killing of Capitol Police Officer Sicknick. Number one, can you give us any type of update on that situation? Number two, I know you talked about intelligence leading up to the day before or leading up to the day of the riots, but there are some specific reports out that there was at least one report out of FBI in Norfolk that painted a pretty grim picture. Can you confirm that? And were authorities on the Hill, really ready for what was coming?
Thank you very much, Kamikaze.
So
I'm out of water.
The investigation into Officer Sicknick's passing.
Dang, guys. Thank you for another hype train. This has been such a great stream. And thank you, ASOC Garbage, for the 100 bits. I appreciate that immensely, friend. I hate how everyone in power just gives non-committal answers. S-tier sarcasm level, you got that there. I appreciate that. Thank you. And Big Special Boy, thank you for the 5 Tier 1 community gift subs. Absolute hero mode on stream here. Holy shit. Brett, subscribing for 3 months in advance. Thank you so much, friend. It's so nice. Because freedom is capitalism, I'm doing other things right now. I have a stream. I'm putting on a show. And your video's probably lame as shit anyway. Not a penny. We're in a hype train. We're on level 3 of a hype train, my dude. Let's see if we can get to level 5 this time. That was super exciting. Hype train, bada bing, bada boom. Ah, yeah. Honestly, I'm not exactly sure what a hype train is, but I think enough people like subbed or donated bits that we now have in a short enough period of time that we have a hype train going. Hell yeah! I want a new show with Jessica Jones tracking down those MAGA thugs and She-Hulk prosecuting them. Oh, Justice Demon, that would be so good. That would be so good. I would watch that all day. Ah, yes. I'm here for it. My dude, you don't even know what my stance on socialism is. I am a socialist, but you have no idea what I advocate for. Which is pretty funny. I talk about it a lot. If you stick around, you might learn something. Not allowing links in chat is actually socialism. Oh. The right are complaining about censorship, wanting the government to intervene when they've spent 40 years railing against government intervention in big business. Exactly, our will so 40. Exactly. Thank you for the 50 bits, ASOC Garbage. I'll give you a leftist ideology you can't refuse.
Is an ongoing investigation. We are looking at everything that we possibly can. It cuts us to the core that one of our law enforcement brethren passed away. So it's an ongoing investigation. There's a lot of tools and interviews that we're still conducting. There's a whole host of video that's out there. We're reviewing all that information. As for the information that's being presented out there right now about Norfolk, that was a thread on a message board that was not attributable, was being attributable to an individual person. Like I said in my statement, we deal in specifics and facts. That information, when my office in Washington Field office received that,
I don't have water anymore, guys. I would need to stop doing the stream to go to the bathroom and get more water, which would be difficult to do because I love you all so much. Okay. Hydrate or dihydrate? Look, I'll hydrate extra hard when I get more water, okay? After this video. It's almost done.
Information. We briefed that within 40 minutes to our law enforcement partners, our federal, state, and law enforcement partners that we had on our command post. It got ingested into the JTTF system and was, again, shared with all our law enforcement partners through that process that we have. And that's the action that we took on that, and that's it.
Yeah, that was the real important takeaway there, Beard Dragon. That his beard shadow looks like a spaceship.